The Rockford Public Library, they will not let me use their telephone to call um, for shelter. I, I called the city, and the city is reaching out to two shelters that might be available, and in one of those shelters, I have my I have my birth certificate getting sent to, and I might not be able to go back there to sleep. My jacket is there at the shelter, and I had plugged in my telephone in this wall outlet next to my bed at that shelter. And because I had my phone plugged in, they punished me, and the night it was like -20 uh, degrees. They told me to leave and go sleep outside. I did not have my jacket. The other shelter is a domestic violence, um, a shelter for victims of domestic violence, and it is up to their discrepancy on whether a male can sleep there. I'm not violent or anything. Um, the the local housing authority has provided a list of shelters, and one of the uh, I called a care ministry, and they gave me in their prompt. They told me to press a number on their prompt to get a hold of the city because uh, they're no longer providing shelter care. And then I contacted the city, and I explained to them that I'm here at the library, and I'm not able to use the telephone, and I do need housing, and if you could help. And they said they'll call me back. Um, so I only get like my phone's about to die, and I'm not able to use the email here at the library, and it's because I rented a computer from the library, and somebody stole that computer, and I uh, I I need to um, I need them to call and find out where I can go, and so they said they'd call me back. So what I'm working with is like um, a very small window, which if they can't get a hold of the shelter, and they can't get a hold of the shelter, or for some reason there's not availability, there's really nowhere to go. And what happened was my stuff was ransacked, gone, stolen, and so I sought refuge, and where I sought refuge, I was punished for plugging in my phone to charge it. The housing authority has a list of shelters, and there's about 20 different suggestions on this list, but most of the suggestions here are 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 is consisting of outdated information. And for instance, the Red Cross number on here is directing me out of this county and into another county to talk to individuals outside of this county, and that doesn't help. And the other suggestions are just the IDHS office, or the Human Services office, or the township. I mean, here at the library, I asked for a piece of paper, and I was told I had to I had to pay like 15 cents, and they wouldn't. And I went to check for if I had 15 cents on me, and I didn't. And they're like, "Sorry, we can't give you a piece of paper." So I could write down like a phone number. Um, and I have several domestic violence act information sheets. Sheet. Let's say it again. I have I have a Illinois Domestic Violence Act information sheet, which was issued to me by the police. I have case numbers, dates, signatures by the police, um, fleeing domestic violence, and uh, I provided that to the city. The but once again, the shelter, it's up to the shelter's the domestic violence shelter. It's up to their discretion whether or not they're going to let a male in or not. And I've already said, like, I'm non-violent. Like, I I'm calm. I was gonna say like easygoing. Couldn't think of the right word. But if both these locations, well, my jacket is at the other shelter, um, and what like uh, if both are unavailable, we live in a democracy. We live in a democracy. And if my possessions were stolen, including the computer I rented from the library, preventing me from utilizing the library's computer, and my clothes were thrown away, and technically the court owns my property at this moment, we live in a democracy. If I told like a little white lie to the assistant here at the library and said, um, uh, and said that I was a victim of a fire, and that's why I can't afford a piece of paper, and she says, I don't care. You have to pay for your single sheet of paper. Then we live in a democracy. If I was hurt by individuals who said that they are hurting me because they've hurt me in the past and the police didn't arrest them and believed that I was going to get a settlement due to the fact that the police didn't do their job. If the reason I can't get employment is because my birth certificate is being sent to a shelter and I can't get there, then we live in a democracy. If the reason for me being hurt is because I contacted people for help, then we live in a democracy. If I witnessed my own grandmother getting assaulted and I witnessed nobody helping her, then we live in a democracy. If the city has available funding for emergency shelter at a hotel but is not dispersing it, then we live in a democracy. When I say in, I do mean under, within. If the keys to my car were stolen, I think the member of my family who's responsible uh, gets in trouble,